In today's video, we will discuss about one of the most popular large cap fund, that is Axis Bluechip fund, and check its performance using real data. And by the end of the video, we shall be able to decide whether to continue our investment in this fund or should exit this fund now, and if decide to exit, then which fund to go with. So please watch the video till the end. Hello everyone, I am Dhaval and welcome to my channel DIY Finance. To start with, we all know that Axis Bluechip fund has been one of the star performance in its category, that is large cap category. We will be considering all the data for the direct plunge only. Firstly, let's look at the basic details like AUM, that is total asset under management, which is around 34,000 crores, which is little bit on a higher side. While the expense ratio is 0.47%, that is less than 0.5% and quite low as compared to other scheme. The benchmark index, that is the reference against which the scheme is compared, is BSE 100. Now let's look at the sector-wise allocation. From the table, it is very clear that the fund is heavily invested in finance and technology. These sectors are the core sectors, and most large cap companies form a part of this sector, and it also resembles its benchmark for sector allocation, which looks good and there seems no issue with it. As evident, Bajaj Finance, HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank and Kotak Bank are the main stocks of financial sector, while Infosys and TCS are from the technology sector. Here also the stock selection looks good. As evident, the large cap shares in the tune of more than 99% form the portfolio, and only negligible part of 0.25% is allocated to mid cap shares. As per SEBI mandate, the fund can have 80% allocation in large cap and rest in others. Here seems the problem, as fund does not have exposure in mid or small caps. Mr. Shreyas Dhaval has been managing the fund since 2016, and that too very efficiently, and hope that it continues in future also. Here, this long-standing association of the fund manager with the same scheme is quite positive and an advantage. Now let's see how the fund performs on risk parameters. Here we compare the parameters with the benchmark index and the category average. First, the mean return, that is the average return in a year, which is 19.37, which is more than both the benchmark index and the category average. Here, the higher the value is better. Second, standard deviation, that is a tool to measure how much the return has deviated from the mean return, which in this case is 17.71 and is also less than both its benchmark and the category average. Here, the lower the value is better. The third one, Sharpe ratio, that is a tool to measure the risk adjusted return, which is 0.89 here, which is more than its benchmark index and category average. Here, the higher the value is better. The fourth one, beta, that is the volatility of the scheme compared to its benchmark, which is 0.78, which is less than the category average. Here, the lower the value is better. The fifth and the last one, alpha, that is a tool that measures how much better the fund has performed compared to its benchmark, which here is 4.29, which is far more than the category average. Here, on all the risk parameters, Axis Bluechip fund performs better than the benchmark index and the category average, which is a very positive sign for the fund. So now let's compare the trailing and rolling returns. Yes, trailing and rolling returns for mutual funds are different, and mostly everyone talks about the trailing returns only. I will make a separate video on this, as this topic is quite long and needs to be discussed in detail. But one thing is sure, that the rolling returns will give a better idea of the fund's performance than the trailing returns. Here we will consider both the data for analysis. So now let's see the trailing returns for the last 1 year, 6 months and 3 months. Here in this period, Axis Bluechip fund has not been able to beat its benchmark index. But if you consider 3 years, 5 years and 7 year returns, it easily beats the benchmark and category with a good margin. So in recent times, the fund has not performed well, but in the long run, its returns are very good. Now let's also check the rolling returns for the past 6 months and 1 year. Here its performance is as comparable to benchmark index and been able to beat the benchmark more than 70% during the comparison period, which is quite a positive for a fund. So now coming to the issue, why this fund is underperforming since last 1 year. The main reason I feel is that there has been the volatility and quite a big sell-off of FIIs, and this large cap stock has been receiving the beating. Also, another reason is that the fund does not have mid and small cap shares in its portfolio, which are generally used by fund managers to generate excess gains to beat its index. So the question is, should you continue or exit the fund? In my opinion, last 1 year performance should not be the only yardstick for deciding the future of such a good performing fund. One should wait for at least 2 to 3 quarters, that is 6 to 9 months, and see what the fund manager, Mr. Shreyas Dhaval sir, takes steps to improve the performance, and after that only take any decision. I would like to add that I have Axis Bluechip fund in my portfolio and I am going to hold it in future. I will again try to review this fund after 6 to 7 months and check its performance. So stay tuned to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not done till now, and also press the like button. Thank you.